Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and finally got around to reviewing this, which a very nice guy, DMC, sent me the Blu-ray of this, which was on my Amazon wish list, and that is Heat. Michael Mann film, came out around 1995, which has a hell of a cast. I mean, you got Al Pacino, you got Robert De Niro, you got Val Kilmer, you got, what do I start with? Tom Sizemore, Ted Levine, Tom Noonan, Michael T. Williamson, Wes Studi, who I remember from Deep Rising and Street Fighter. You got Ashley Judd. You got, I believe, Natalie Portman in a small role. You have, I believe his name's Dennis Haysbert. It's definitely a guy I've seen in a lot of films. You got John Voight. I mean, you have a lot of people in this film. And it makes sense because this was a flick where you finally get these two together. Two great actors, Pacino and De Niro, together. And not for a stupid comedy or a shitty action film like Righteous Kill, which that was way after this, and that's a piece of shit film. This is a film that Chris Nolan, he was really influenced by when he did The Dark Knight. I think this film kissed the shit out of The Dark Knight. I'm sorry, it's my opinion. I think this is a great film. Some people, when I review stuff, they think I just like action films, like this stuff behind me, or horror films. I don't review a lot of films like these because, A, they speak for themselves. They're heavily praised, accolades, and deservedly so. A lot of times I review stuff that either I fucking hated or the defending. Not many people are praising these films. They're talking shit about them. But this gets enough praise and it deserves it. It's a great crime, epic drama, has action and thriller elements. The story, even though it's 2 hours and 50 minutes, it's a simple story. It's a cop, Al Pacino, going after a thief, Robert De Niro. Al Pacino has his crew, Wes Studi, Michael T. Williamson, Ted Levine. Robert De Niro has his crew, Tom Sizemore, Val Kilmer, Danny Trejo. And it culminates with, there's a big bank robbery, which I would say Nolan pretty much ripped off for The Dark Knight. I know it's an homage, but I'll say rip off just because. The Dark Knight is an overrated film, in my opinion. Again, I much prefer this film. I'm not saying that just to piss off people who like The Dark Knight. It's because I think that's a film that needs to have a few notches taken down. It's not a perfect, ecstatic film. This, to me, I have one little issue, but other than that, the music works well. Elliot Goldenthal actually did the music, he worked on Alien 3, which that's one of the only good things about that film. And also nice song usage, especially Moby. I love the music at the end, God moving over the water. I love that piece of music. I think it's a fantastic piece of music. Perfect way to end the film, which I'll get to, by the way. And this Blu-ray, I thought it looked nice, picture quality wise, and it has the documentaries that I believe were on the 2-disc. I had it on DVD, but it was a bare bones, and it was pretty scuffed up. This looked great, and it had, again, documentaries. When that DVD came out at the time, were interviews with Al Pacino, and Tom Sizemore, and Michael Mann, and Val Kilmer, and so forth. And this is one of those films that it's cop looking for criminal, and yet what Michael Mann, first off, he's a great director. I do think he's a great director. He's not always perfect. I don't like Public Enemies. I fucking hated his movie on Miami Vice. but I loved Collateral. I reviewed that. That's on my channel. I love this one. The Keep, I believe he did. It wasn't that bad of a movie. Thief, I like, with James Caan. But my favorites are definitely this and Collateral. I did not see that film he did. What was it, Black Hat? It's kind of weird reviewing this because what do you say about a film that, even though it's 2 hours and 50 minutes, it speaks for itself. I didn't get bored. It's one of those movies that, even though it's almost 3 hours long, I can watch. I'm one of those guys, I cannot watch Lord of the Rings. It bores me. Which I know is strange because you have physical stuff going on, but I just don't care. And yet this film's almost 3 hours, and I care because I like this cast. I like the way Michael Mann films his shots. This is way before the shaky cam and the jittery editing and the schizophrenic stuff. I love the look of the film with its blues, mostly blues, and once in a while some greens, but mostly blue color scheme. I like that everywhere I look, oh my god, there's a recognizable face. Tom Noonan, he's the guy who did Robert De Niro the plans. John Voight, he's the guy who's connected with Robert De Niro, and even Henry Rollins, he's a guy working for this asshole played by William Fichtner, and Al Pacino kicks his ass. I think he's the one Al Pacino throws out through a window. Al Pacino, some people make fun of his role, saying it's too over the top, it's too goofy. I enjoy it. I think it's entertaining. I think it's fun. I think it's a nice balance because Robert De Niro, his character is very calm, collected, low energy. So Al Pacino is sort of the opposite, have a bit of high energy. And I found it fun. I know on the documentary, Pacino mentions, while it's not part of the film, there's an idea that maybe the character would take bits of cocaine. So maybe at times he was hyper because he was high. That's not in the film, but they mentioned it on the documentary. But it was entertaining. I mean, he's talked to a guy, and actually Hank Azaria, who was one of the voices of The Simpsons. He was in the 1998 Godzilla. He's been in a lot of stuff. What was that one with Robin Williams? Oh my god, I had it. I cannot believe I cannot remember it now. Anyway, that's don't bug me. But Hank Azaria's talking about how, oh, why'd I get with that bitch? And Al Pacino goes, because she's got a great ass. I love that. I thought it was fantastic. The Birdcage, that's the fellow I was thinking of, with Hank Azaria and Robin Williams. But why'd I get with that bitch? Because she's got a great ass. It just had memorable moments. Like another guy, don't waste my motherfucking time. I thought it was fun. And then he has this home life where this woman, they're together. I believe Natalie Portman is the woman's daughter, but there's also some friction. Well, not really friction, but even the wife says and Natalie Portman is a child from another marriage of the woman. I forget the actress's name. Maybe Diane Venora, that might be her. Could be wrong. Sort of how Al Pacino is set on getting the criminals and on his prey. And so Al Pacino, he even mentioned before that, hey, I warned you before getting into this that you don't have to share with me. And what I like is throughout the film, although I will say it seems at times it's more Robert De Niro's film than Al Pacino. I think if you measure the screen time, it seems like Robert De Niro gets a little bit more screen time than Al Pacino. I will say I like Al Pacino's character more, but Robert De Niro, he still did a really good job as well. But Al Pacino, I like that at the end, they let go, and even Al Pacino says, I'm not the guy you want, accepting the fact that this isn't going to get better. It's only going to get worse. And, that's a man enough thing to do. To be like, let's break it off, but decently. This is after he finds Natalie Portman, who cut herself, and taken to the hospital, and the mom, his former wife, girlfriend, however you want to call her, is there, and they talk. But I like that Al Pacino says, you know what, we gotta let it go. I'm not the guy you want, and they sort of split, but split admirably. On the flip side, Robert De Niro's character was always about, I got stay, don't have any attachments, but throughout the film he does get an attachment, Amy Brenneman, and at the end he's able to leave the happy ending with her, but no, he can't. And he makes this mistake where he goes back to kill one more person, then goes back to try to deal with her, but then that's when Al Pacino sees him, and you get into the final chase of the flick. I wouldn't call it action-packed, but you did a little robbery at the beginning of the film, and then this asshole with long hair and facial kills one guard because he's a dumbass dickhead, and so the others have to kill the other two guards. And then later on, Robert De Niro, the others are ready to kill that guy. DC fucked up, but then he escapes. And then there's this other stuff with William Fichtner's character, where there's a scene where William Fichtner betrays Robert De Niro. They're supposed to give him money, and they try to shoot Robert De Niro, and Robert De Niro and his buddies kill those guys. There's the action scene, of course, with the bank robbery, where, well staged, Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer are able to escape, while Tom Sizemore gets killed by Al Pacino's character. And I think because Michael Mann, he did this film before, but it was a movie called L.A. Takedown. It was a TV movie. And even on the documentary, he mentions he only used 40% of the script. And I've seen the sequence of L.A. Takedown, which is the memorable conversation between Pacino and De Niro. But these other two guys doing it, and they were shitty. And it shows that you do take that dialogue, you put with shitty actors, it won't work. But you get two great actors, and it will work perfectly fine. And yeah, it would have been nice to have more scenes with them together. I mean, you get the one big conversation while they're having coffee. And then Sally, if you want to see more of them, you gotta see Righteous Kill, which turned out to be a piece of shit. So that sucked. But still, I think for the film it works. I mean, yeah, greedy-wise, it'd be nice to have a few more scenes with them, but I think for the film it was telling, it worked perfectly fine. I guess, what more could they do? It's not like they're going to be hanging out with each other because it's a cop and criminal. So for this film, it works perfectly fine. I just wish they could do another film that was a good film like this, not a shitty film like Righteous Kill. Val Kilmer, he's fine. I remember hearing at one point in some trivia that Keanu Reeves was going to be, but I guess they went for Val Kilmer because Batman, like he had been cast as Batman, or Batman had done filming. It's like, oh, he's going to be a big guy, get that guy. I don't know what the whole deal was, but I don't even know if that's true. But from what I heard, Keanu Reeves was going to be that role, and they'd have Val Kilmer. To be honest, I would prefer Keanu Reeves because I liked him more than Val Kilmer, but Val Kilmer did fine in the flick. The rest of the cast, well, I was saying before, the fact that they have 2 hours and 50 minutes, they work in little scenes to make even little characters like Dennis Haysbert's character, where he's an ex-con who's cooking, he's being treated like shit, he has this girlfriend who's proud of him, and then because Danny Trejo doesn't show up for the bank job. They need another guy. Dennis Haysbert is there. They get him, and then he dies during it. So you even get a little bit with his character. So he's not just a character you don't give a shit about, or just a character that, where the fuck did he come from? There's a little bit of build-up. There's a little bit of, you have to set something up in order to follow through with it, not come out of nowhere. And it's one of those things where, God, well, I know I've said this before, but it's a film that speaks for itself. It's a film that, it's just, Al Pacino, really enjoy him as an actor. He does a great job in the role. Robert De Niro is another great actor. He does perfectly fine as the villain. I don't care for Amy Brenneman. I did not like her in Daylight with Stallone. I don't care for her as an actress, or her southern accent, whatever the hell she was doing in this. So her scenes with Robert De Niro, where they're getting a little bit lovey-dovey, were the least interesting scenes for me. That's, to me, the one thing I don't care about the film, is those scenes between Robert De Niro and Amy Brenneman, because I don't care about her. I don't care about her character. I don't care about Robert De Niro's love story. I get why it's there for the plot, but I don't find those scenes interesting. I really don't. But it's just a well-directed film with a fantastic cast, a score that fits well. I love the ending where it's just these two guys, Pacino chasing De Niro. Pacino's got a shotgun, chasing Robert De Niro. They're on this airfield, planes in the background. It's at nighttime. They have a confrontation. Pacino gets De Niro. They have this mutual respect where Pacino holds Robert De Niro's hand while he dies. It's a long shot. And yeah, that great music by Moby, God moving over the water playing. I think it was a perfect way to end it. It was a perfect way, showing, oh, one sees a shadow, and that's how he's able to get the drop on the other guy, and just a little bit of cat mouse there. Nothing big, humongous. This film didn't need a huge action explosions at the end. It was just simple, these two guys against each other. It's a perfect way to end this kind of flick. I think it's tough for me reviewing this film, only the fact that the best thing to call it, it's a great film. It's a great film. It's like when I saw Collateral in the theater. I'm like, this is a great film. When people throughout the ages talk about filmmaking, I'm not talking about entertainment, which I love these films as entertainment, but like film. When people talk about the accolades or Academy Awards, which I don't think this got anything, which shows how bullshit the Academy Awards are, once again. I mean, what year? What got it that year? I don't even think this was nominated for anything. What? I could be wrong, but I would think if it did, it would say something on the back here. Well, what the hell did get nominated? That's bullshit. Al Pacino, Rob De Niro, and the movie should have been all nominated, in my opinion. I think they would deserve it. Michael Mann, especially, for directing. If he didn't get nominated, then that's bullshit. The movie should have been nominated as well. I mean, this Time magazine says it best. Awesome, truly epic, a masterpiece. That says it all. I like the fact that even though it has all these little parts to it, it's not confusing. It's not, oh shit, this thing led nowhere, and confusing subplots and clutter. It was, at the end of the day, still a simple story, just told very, very well. And the director did a great job on the script, did a great job on the look of the film, the directing, and he got a hell of a cast, and it's just a great film that you do not see nowadays. You don't see great films nowadays. Maybe you find a fun film, but you don't see... Let me put it this way. You can find a fun movie, but they don't make great films anymore. And I think that's the sad thing. You do find a fun movie, or an entertaining movie, or a movie that, oh, that was fun, or that was funny, but they don't have great film. This is a great film. They don't have that now. There's now one film this year that could be considered a great film. I'm sorry. There's not. There simply is not. In fact, I would say this year is the worst year for films, or even movies, in a long fucking time. And it's just sad when you're watching this, it's like, man, you get a great cast, and even though it's 3 hours, you set a pace that is never boring, is always interesting, makes me, what's going to happen next, even though I've seen it before. Populated with great actors, so that, okay, in this scene you have a great actor, in this scene you got great actors, you have it look good, you have it sound good. Doesn't have to be complicated with 50 plots going on, like Batman v Superman. The best thing to describe it, it's a great film. With solid performances, music, look, and it's a cop and criminal movie that is wonderfully done. And I'm going to stop there because I'm going to just repeat myself. So, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.